Hey everyone, Jerry here, and welcome back to my guide to Better Than Wolves. Today we'll be talking a bit about the changes to armor that have been made in recent releases, which, like all the other features, have been termed hardcore armor, and hardcore protection, but in fact it covers, it's actually not something that makes the game harder as such, but different. So yay for change. To start with, we'll go in here in my little hobbit hole that I've made for this specific occasion. It's an early game shelter made entirely from early game materials, so people can see that you can actually make something that looks quite decent with without using stone. So the first thing I want to talk about is wool armor. Early game, you've been killing a lot of sheep, you've been gathering their mutton, eating it, most likely, but you might not have had anything to do with the wool. Now there's a way for you to use it to create these fancy little hats, wool jackets, wool breeches. You can't make socks, because, well, yeah, boots, rather, as that would be socks. The recipes for the different wool armor items are the same as the usual recipes. You have the chest plate here, helmet, and the pants here. You can also dye this wool armor, so if we take some dye here and take our fancy hat here, we can make a nice red hat. In addition to wool clothes, there's also been a change to leather, in that if you have a pair of shears, you can combine them with, or you can use them to cut up a piece of leather, to get cut leather, with which you can then make all the usual leather items. So you can make a nice pair of leather boots here to go with your wool clothes, by just using 2 pieces of leather instead of 4. So that's a nice way to use the shears. Later on in the mod, you'll also be able to use the shears to cut up scoured and tanned leather, which are like higher. Scoured leather is a middle product, but the tanned leather is an improved version of normal leather. In addition to the wool clothing, you can also make padded clothing later on in the game. Padding is a specific mod type of material made from feathers and fabric, which you make from hemp. The specific change labeled hardcore armor has to do with armor being generally quite encumbering when you're wearing it. So to that effect, I have a bit of iron here, so we can try crafting some stuff to actually show it. I'm using the anvil here. You don't need to use the anvil to actually craft the normal iron armor. That's just the same recipes as usual. So if we make a chest plate here, you can see it uses 8 ingots, and then we'll make a pair of iron boots as well. That's like that, which is another 4, totaling 12 ingots for these 2 pieces. The hardcore armor change, the main thing it does is that for every unit of weight that you wear in armor, you get increased stamina drain, as in increased hunger. So with the iron chestplate and the iron boots on here, I'm having a total of 12 weight on me. If I go over into the water here, you should quickly notice a change in that. First of all, I cannot swim. I can jump along the bottom here, skip and jump like a proper lumberjack, but I cannot actually swim along the top. Instead, I have to, basically walk below the bottom because the iron armor is weighing me down. If I take off the boots again and put on my biker boots here, I'll be able to swim like normal. The limit for swimming versus sinking is 10 weight units. Wool clothing, padded clothing, leather armor and tanned leather armor, that sort of thing, they are all considered weightless. They don't weigh anything when you wear them, meaning that you can think of them as free protection, in that you should always be wearing at least a suit of leather armor, and then you have the iron stuff on top of that for special occasions. If we go in here to the anvil again, there is one additional thing related to this. Chain armor is now craftable, which you do by taking these iron nuggets here and you putting them in a checkerboard pattern. Now, I'm only making each recipe here using 8 iron nuggets makes 2 ingots, or 2 mail pieces. There we go, and we grab that one, and 8. So now we should be able to make a chain chestplate here. There we go. Chain armor has the advantage of only weighing half as much as iron, while providing somewhat less protection as well. but it does give more protection than leather, but less than iron, so it's kind of in between. Later on in the game, when the player is really advanced, he'll have access to the Soulforged Steel armor set. This armor is, while making you nigh invulnerable, it also makes you a lot heavier than all the other armors, because you have to craft them on the anvil and they use a lot more ingots in the process. As always with the hardcore hunger change, you don't want to be sprinting and jumping everywhere. This is especially true if you're wearing armor, because the increased drain will be even more noticeable and you'll burn through your food very quickly. Protection comes at a cost, and that cost is increased energy expenditure.